Thank you, Chair. Mr. Yeo, your company has 2 people. Is your partner Indigenous?
He is.
He is, okay. You got $7.9 million on ArriveCAN alone, even though, as you've testified, you didn't do any actual work on the app. How many Indigenous Canadians, besides you 2, benefited from that big fat check that the government wrote to Dalian for ArriveCAN?
So our interpretation is that it's 4.9 million, but the aspect of,
so your interpretation is that you know better than the Auditor General?
I'm just telling you the facts that from our side. And we actually went out to the.
I think that's absurd, sir. But I want to actually focus on the Indigenous procurement component of it. Sure. How many Indigenous people besides you and your partner?
Stop the clock, Mr. Jennifer. I will just remind everyone, because this has come up time and time again. The auditor's terms do not allow her to go into companies like the one before us today, Dalian. So that you sent her documents from her perspective could have been irrelevant. You'll all recall that the auditor noted she came up with these numbers based on what the government of Canada provided her. So just that is just a point of clarification for the committee. It doesn't change any of your questions, Mr. Genuis. I just wanted to kind of put that out there, that this is an ongoing debate about the scope of ArriveCAN, and I think it is an important one. So we don't know what the answer is. That's why these committee meetings are happening. Ms. Genuis, you have the floor for 4.5 minutes.
Mr. Yeo, besides the 2 people at your company, how many Indigenous people benefited from the $7.9 million that the Government of Canada gave you for the work you did on ArriveCAN?
So in reference to the 7.9 million, which is actually 4.9, our actual representation of profit in that helps not only pay our staff, but also helps with our staff augmentation with Karatics as well.
How many Indigenous people? So you're not answering my question. You keep talking about your staff, but there's 2 of you. So okay, there are 2 Indigenous people who benefited, you and your partner. Yeah. But how many other Indigenous people benefited from this particular outlay from the Government of Canada?
Well, I mean, we do work with the Algonquin College on staffing bursaries and things like that. I do have outreach back to my own, reserve in Alderville. But as far as, benefiting,
what does that even mean, though? Like you've reached back, so when you make a lot of money, I don't know. How do Indigenous Canadians benefit from you getting this deal?
Sure. The PSAB process and the PSAB policy, that's a government policy that we favor because it's a great policy. It's not.
I'm sure you think it's a great. Sorry,
it's not made to. It's not made to help Indigenous communities across the country. It's made to help the entrepreneur that's trying to get government contracts to grow his business. So, in that context, it's not made for helping out Indigenous communities across the country.
Okay, so you just said that the government's Indigenous procurement policy, in your view, is not made to benefit Indigenous communities across the country. It's made to benefit the particular entrepreneur.
It's made to help the entrepreneur get access to government contracting that would allow them to grow the company in whatever fashion they want.
So your position is the policy made you money, therefore it's achieving its objective, regardless of the impact on Indigenous communities across the country.
So that could be your interpretation, but it's not the reality. The reality is...
I'm just repeating what you just said, though.
Well, no, you weren't repeating what I just said. But in the context of the PSAB, it's spread out across the entire country, and there's lots of people that are actually working within the framework of that.
No, but sir, that actually isn't what you said before. But to broaden this out, so from what I understand, you've gotten your company has received hundreds of millions of dollars in contracts from the Trudeau government since 2015. That is under the framework of a policy that I thought was intended to actually elevate the conditions that Indigenous peoples in this country are living in. And you're saying, well, no, it's good enough that process made me money.
Yeah, pretty much.
That would seem to go against what Canadians would expect of the policy, surely.
My understanding of the value that you put out was 91 million. I've got it in front of me from 2015 until now. But at the same time, you know, you can look in the PSAB and the PSIB policy, and nowhere will it
Sorry,
state
just because
that
my
it
time's
helps
about to run out,
communities.
Chair, I'd like to move a motion that the committee write to INAN to recommend that they investigate abuses in the Indigenous procurement system. I think the need for this motion is self-evident from the testimony that we've received.
Any chance you sent that motion to the
I did
clerk?
send it in advance. It's that the committee write to INAN to recommend that they investigate abuses in the Indigenous procurement system. Thank you.
Very good. Could you distribute that when ready? Done. Perfect. Mr. Desjardins, you have the floor.